I was asking him about his work. Oh, he was giving me a hard time about vocabulary. Like, Mom, why do we need, if I can use good.
Yeah. Right.
Right? And good, everyone knows what good means. Then why do I need to use any of these other words? It doesn't make sense. Why do they make life so hard on us? And the spelling, these words.
Babe, you're giving me fucking anxiety. It's like I'm sitting next to Joey. Jesus Christ.
Like these
I'm about to tell you, shut up. You know, it's like
good. Like he's like, how is that O-O? How is that G-O-O? That doesn't make sense.
He's getting fucking pissed at the founders of language.
You know, so I'm sharing with him, and he's like, and he's getting himself really frustrated, and I'm having him, you know, look up the words, and he gets up and he's about to quit. And I said, Joe, I said, do you want to know why this is so difficult for you and challenging for you? And why you have, it's not that he has like a 3rd grade vocabulary, because there's times where he throws out words, right, that are up there. But for the most part.
But 3rd graders might do that too.
Right. And so I was just being the realist.
Being a realist.
My dad, like his daddy. Right. And I just said, listen, dude. I said, the reason why you have a 3rd grade vocabulary is because you keep quitting, just like you were about to do. That is why. And he looked at me and he said, ugh, so I'm dumb. I am just dumb. And me being the person I am, I'm like, that's not.
Don't fall for that shit.
I know, but me, I felt that for a moment. And I said, listen, dude, do you want to know the truth, or do you want me to lie to you? You are a very smart boy.
Yeah.
Like, and I started going off and sharing, pulling things out of the cookie jar and telling him, hey, what are some things that you do good today? What are some things that you do good today? And he says, well, I can solve a Rubik's Cube. You figured it out because you wanted to figure it out.
Yeah.
Transformers, that's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, he's been doing it forever.
And even though he had some help, he's really good at it today. But it's because it's something that you wanted to learn. I said, Joey, do you know how to ride a bike today? Yes. How do you ride how are you on a bike?
I wonder if he remembers.
I'm pretty good.
Like learning how to ride a bike, because that was a long time ago. But I do remember I remember him being angry.
Yep.
Riding his fucking bike because he was angry that he couldn't ride his bike.
Yep.
He's like, I can't ride. And he's like, ride. Yep. I'm like, looks like you're fucking riding to me.
Exactly. He's always had that in him, that just fight to learn. Right? It's constant. And skating. He skates. Were you always good at skating? No. Did you give up? No. That's why he can skate today.
Yeah.
I'm like, Joey, so I'm having to show him all these things. I'm like, all you have to do is decide.
Yeah.
Just decide. Give in. Because what's going to happen is if you quit now, you're going to pay for it later.
Yeah, I was having a talk with him just a couple of days ago about the same thing. I was talking to him about quitting. I was talking to him about, the pain of discipline and the pain of regret, and, whether you're going to pay that now with discipline or you're going to pay that later with regret. And you're going to wish that you could, go back and do better in school or learn how to read better or get in better shape or not spend all your money or all that stuff. But speaking about quitting, I was fighting with somebody and this dude, I got him like in this move that's called the triangle. I have my legs around his head and his arms, and I'm laying on my back. And it's a good move, but it can be not so great if they pass it. Like I could choke him, but if he passes it, then I end up in a spot where he's on my side, and it's uncomfortable for me. He ends up in side control, smashing my head. And when I was fighting with the guy, I get him in the triangle, and he was waiting for me to adjust. And as soon as I adjusted, he threw my legs over and passed right into side control and started smashing me. And in that moment, all I thought about was how bad it sucked to be there. And I defended a little bit, but it was uncomfortable. And I didn't continue to defend, and he ended up getting into mounting, sitting on top of me, which is even worse. And then I started to defend a little bit, but then I didn't, and I kind of left an arm hanging out there, and he was able to choke me. And that was it. It was over. And that's pretty much quitting. Like, that's what that is. Like, if you can defend and you don't defend, you quit. Bottom fucking line. You want to be real about it? I'm being real. I quit, right? The only way that it would be really bad is if I quit and I never fucking did jujitsu again. That would be bad, right?
Right.
I just never, that's it. I fucking quit.
Done.
I'm done. But no, like I came home and I was kind of thinking about it. And I thought that I quit. And then I was like, what should I have done? Oh, I remember now. I should do what they tell me to do when I'm in that position. Because there is something that you're supposed to do. You get your elbow in. You push against their hips. You bring the other arm around. You push against their face and their throat or their shoulder. You make some space and you get your knees in. You get into a better position. But I didn't try any of it. You know? So I was thinking, I was like, next time, instead of just giving up, like right off the fucking, like, oh, fuck, this sucks. Just think about the first step. Get that elbow in and push off against their hips. Create that space. That's it. And, but for me, like, that's kind of normal. You know what I mean? Like, I think these things, like, yeah, you fucking quit or whatever. And then I'm like, what do I do better now? Like, that is the way my mind works. And
that's how you learn.
But I did quit, and I was telling Joe, like, I was like, I need to share this with Joey.
Good.
You know? And I did share it with him. And I was like, you know what, though? I was like, I quit and I lost. I was like, but you know what's really cool about this? I was like, next time, if I end up in this position and I remember to try to get my elbow in and push off of his hips and to try to get the other arm across his face, if I can even do that, I won. I could get tapped out. I could get some, you know what? I could try it and it could not work. But I still won because I thought about it and I tried it. I was like, that's the win right there.
Right. What you just shared, I hope those of you that are listening or watching took note, because it is so important for our children to know when we make mistakes, coming from a vulnerable place, so that they can see, and I've talked about this, that we are human, that we make mistakes, and we're sharing that with them so that when they make a mistake, they won't be so hard on themselves, but know that, okay, this mistake, there's a lesson. What could have I done instead?
Yeah. And the other thing that I was talking to Joey about, which we've talked about on here, which I've talked to him about a million times, is that the other thing about this move is that, like I mentioned in the beginning, I try hard as hell to not even end up in this position, right? Like, I'm always defending my neck so that they can't get that arm under my head and crush me down into the mat. What is the only way that I'll get good at escaping from that position?
By putting yourself in that position.
There is no way that I'll ever get good at escaping that position if I'm always defending my neck. And I never get back into that position, into that shitty position where they have their shoulder on my chin and they're forcing my head the other way. And it's uncomfortable. It fucking sucks. You have to. It's what we've been talking about the last few weeks. All the shit that you don't want to do. All the things that you dread doing, that I dread doing. Everything that we want is on the other side of that stuff.